Hello and welcome to the Sorare Data Show. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdinho on Sorare. Joined today by PSU Fans 2 to talk about some more rivals for a few things. Sean and I were talking about the tweet that, what is Nacho's last name? Harris,
yeah.
Sent out today. Nacho is I would argue, the face of Sorare Rivals since he was in the commercial. He is from Spain, I believe. And that's where they launched kind of the first thing about it. So, Sean,
isn't Nellis the face of Rivals?
I think Nellis is the face of Sorare.
Gotcha.
And at least Nacho is the face in Spain, the Spanish face.
Okay, gotcha. Has Nellis played a Rivals match yet?
Not that I know of.
Oh, Nellis.
Just taking bags, Sean. That's all it is. Anyway, Sean, there were a few things that Nacho got through, and if anybody wants to look, it's literally at Nacho Harris, Heras. And Scosmo, I agree with this here. Trippin is the voice of Rivals. I love that line. But what do you think about Well, I guess I should just pull it up. I don't know why.
Yeah, you should. I think we can go through each point if you want, because I think there's some good comments in there.
Yes. And for full disclosure, it's all written in Spanish, and Sean and I are now relying on Google Translate.
Correct.
But this is the tweet. I'll drop it in the live chat here for anyone.
There we go. So
yeah, what do you got, Sean?
So the first part of this, I think we'll go over all the parts, because why not? And I do think
we got nothing else to talk about, Sean.
We have had a couple people that are saying that they want some. They're hoping that we get a roadmap so that there is something else to talk about. I will say, be careful what you wish for, because I think people might want a roadmap, and then we get a roadmap, and people do not enjoy a roadmap. But until then,
they still want it, though.
They still want it. Of course they want it. But so until then, we have some Rivals discussions, because like I don't know what else we could talk about from a Sorare perspective other than like go get your threshold, and that's what you do. Actually, I failed miserably, and I think I got like no thresholds this week, Laird. I don't think I got any. So
stop me if you've heard this before. My most important threshold revolves around sporting today.
Yeah, that's not shocking. That's going to end. Well, the question is, do you need a clean sheet? Because if you do, that's not happening.
I don't need a clean sheet, but I also cannot afford like a total bed shitting.
Okay, well, like that's also possible. It's
right.
So you definitely have a chance at that. So anyways, let's get to the first. Let's go through points, because we might as well. His first point is that the game mode is very good and entertaining. I agree with that. I know you don't agree as much. But I found the Rivals game mode to be very entertaining. The issue is, I also can very easily see the lack of interest after a little bit. I can definitely say our good friend Gator Guy, he is depressed and has retired from Rivals despite still playing. And the reason for that we'll get to in a little bit. But his reasoning makes sense. Like, I definitely agree and like understand why he is in that situation, like why he's not thrilled with the Rival situation right now. And obviously, as you know, Keith was very much someone that was excited about Rivals and enjoying Rivals, and he's lost a lot of that. So
I think we'll get into that, but I think there is the most basic solution to his problem.
Yeah, there is a basic solution to his problem, but we'll get into that because a lot of it is tied into everything else. So I first of all, what is your thoughts on Rivals now we've had a little bit longer to go at it with its current iteration of what it is?
I think it's a great game mode that a lot of people will enjoy. I think, honestly, that the biggest thing missing, and I know that there are a lot of things missing, but I think one thing that will actually take it to another level in terms of new users is private leagues. Like, I think if they had an easier ability to do private leagues, then it becomes even more like the FPL free to play that you can play with your friends, and then it kind of goes from there.
Yeah, I think that there's definite potential within it, but like from what it is now, are you engaged with it? Because I know you obviously don't play very much. How much of that is like a life thing versus a like there's no rewards thing?
It's like a 95% life thing, to be honest.
Okay. So like Now let me ask you this next question. If the rewards were better and you were more incentivized to play, how much more would you be playing?
Not that much more, to be honest.
No, and that's fine. So I was curious what your answer would
Yeah,
be.
so it comes down to me. I was actually going to talk about this on another show at some point, but I might as well get into it because we're talking about Rivals. But it's reminding me why I stopped playing DFS
Yeah, I get that.
and why I loved SO5 so much that it's like I need to set my lineups twice a week and then I can just wait for the pain to come in, and having to like constantly like the only way to really know you're good at Rivals is to either have an absurd winning streak or move up in the arena, like in the leaderboard where you have to play the arena, and that's all based off of volume. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to like play 5 games a day just to feel like I'm being competitive, and playing like one a day. Like I'll do it. But I was actually talking to Gator Guy about this, and he was like, what I love about Rivals is like, if you have 10 minutes or something, you're in the parking lot somewhere waiting for your kids. Like we have kids. And so he's like, you just have a little time. Like, oh yeah, you could just like pull up a Rivals game. But like, I don't play that way. Like I can't just like randomly make a lineup and be like, hope this works. And I just don't want to put the time in to like build all these lineups and have to just constantly churn it. Like that's such a negative for me. I get why other people love it, but it just doesn't fit for me.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that also Sorare Maddie is here. Maddie, are you the guy that is in second
Yes.
place in the leaderboard? Because you are a big part of my discussion that's going to be coming up here. So I hope that you stay tuned. So anyways, yeah, I think that there's a lot of interest in it. And part of my issue with the ELO is it's so heavily predicated on how much you play, which Nacho talks about. And he says here after the first weekend, he gave a lot of effort, and once you're up there, you have to try to keep up. The only realistic way to keep up is by plowing games in. And obviously, for some people, plowing games in isn't a reasonable thing. Like you just don't really have the ability to just plow in a bunch of games because you just don't have that ability. So it's a situation where if you don't have tickets, you can't really get the tickets. Now, that said, I don't think the way that they give the tickets is bad per se. You have the ability to collect 2 a day. That's reasonable. And then you also have the ability to get them from referring people, which I don't think is bad. Like I think that's a good incentive to get people on to refer people. I don't know exactly. One sec, I have a sub I might need to be making here.
I'm going to continue that because the other way you can get them is with the streaks.
Oh, never
And
mind.
obviously,
Perfect sub. Demer is off. That's who I would like to have had come off anyway. So no sub for me at the moment, Laird.
what I was saying, like the other way is streaks. The problem is that you're not guaranteed to get tickets, which is
Correct.
funny because we're in the whole like we would rather the tickets than the card. But you also, it's a total. I mean, it's not a total lottery, but like you could get 10, you could get 30, and that's a humongous difference. And the fact that there's no other way to get tickets is just baffling to me.
Yeah, I actually have a question for Maddie before we continue on this. Maddie, how like when you hit your boxes? Yeah, okay, that was my question. You got the max. He got the max tickets every time. So yeah, so it's like purely a luck based thing, which again, nothing wrong with that. But I agree with you. Like the fact you can't get tickets with um so rare coins kind of stinks. I'm fine with giving them for referrals, assuming it's not like just like abusing referrals and it's like
Mhm.
actually people that are putting on funds. But yeah, so like for example, the reason Gator Guy is retired and he has really no interest in it, he's still playing, but he just says he's retired. He has no tickets. He gets 2 tickets a day. You can't do shit with that. You're just like you play your 2 a day, and like you doesn't really matter because you just can't really keep up with someone that goes like 10 and 10. Like if you go 10 and 10 versus someone with 2 tickets, you pretty much get the same return. So it's just
Yeah, I
one of
mean,
the
Maddie said it here in the race to 700, you basically have to play every game. And
I
I
don't
said,
think
like,
you
I
had
was out of tickets a few times, and it's impossible to catch up.
yeah, I don't think you necessarily had to play every game, but you had to play a lot. Like you probably had to play, I would say 60 to 70 games in the game week.
Yeah,
Like
which
in
is
not in game week,
that's
but like you pretty much have to play like 10 plus. Like you have to play like 5 to 7 during the week when there's like not every game going on, and then you had to play like 15 on the weekends on Saturday and Sunday when there's like 50 games. Like you
each
probably didn't have to play every game, but you had to play like a shitload of games, which is again
like that's a
something.
gigantic negative for me.
It's a gigantic negative for you. It's also, I think, just a gigantic negative for a lot of people because, like, if you don't have the amount of tickets, you can't do that. So,
Yeah.
like, Gator Guy literally won a limited on his last pull after winning the 7 streak, and it just ended him because he couldn't do anything anymore. So it literally just ended all enjoyment he had because he just couldn't play anymore, which was kind of unfortunate because that's someone who was really enjoying it. Like, he was really enjoying the Rivals game mode. So that for me is something that kind of stinks. So, anyways, then we're going to go into the next point that Nacho says. He said that playing with commons is not something planned. It's because he doesn't have very many cards. He talks about like people getting matched up versus limiteds and pro cards and stuff and whatnot. But he said that if you thought that he was taking advantage of that, then that's wrong. I don't know if that's a pro or a con because it's like something like, how did you not realize that that was the case? Like, how did it's pretty obvious that that's an advantage. Now that said, I agree with the rest of what he said. He talks about tickets in the controversy. The only way you can keep up with people is playing. So like I don't blame anyone for playing. And he also said that common people should be able to play at the top of the leaderboard. I agree with that too. I think the common people should be able to compete at the top of the leaderboard. What I don't agree with is if you have cards, you can't compete at the top of the leaderboard. That does not make sense to me. So Maddie's here. Maddie, I have a question for you because you single-handedly lost this race to 700 and whatever they gave out. I forget exactly what they gave out. But you single-handedly lost it because you played a game where you had 2 limiteds and you played Nanzo where you had a 0% chance to win.
Yeah, it was the same lineup, but Nanzo's was super rares and uniques, and Maddie had 2 limiteds and 3.
I don't even, yeah, and so Maddie picked the correct captain, and he gained 30 points on tactics and lost by 70 or 40 or something.
I don't remember.
But so like either way, like so that's just like that's kind of shitty that Maddie got punished for owning cards. Like Maddie lost the race to 700 because he owned cards. That just is not a good thing to me at all.
But like that's how it's supposed to work. Like it's supposed to you're supposed to make your lineup knowing that you're up against someone else with a high elo, excuse me. And you're going in with 3 commons. Like
you just lose. You just cannot play. You just lose.
We don't know exactly who you're going up against, but like isn't the point there? Like maybe I should buy some pro cards, some more pro cards.
But it's not. The incentive there is to sell your 2 pro cards you had and play common. That's the incentive. There's no incentive for Maddie to buy cards there. There's incentive for him to sell them and have none.
The irony is that my response was going to be like, just don't play that one. But they were just saying like they had to play them all to keep up. Like he said, Saturday and Sunday he played 80% of the games before he had no tickets.
Yeah. So like exactly. So like he ended up in a situation where he lost. Like there was no way Maddie could win that because realistically in that situation where you're at the top elo and you have 2 limiteds and 3 commons, you lose like 98% of the time. Like it's just like I'm being as nice as possible, right? Like you're gonna lose. There's just very little chance you have to make up 100% in XP. Yeah, even 100, like 5 limiteds, I think you could like maybe play in some spots, but like even then, like you might end up with a minus 50% XP difference, which is ridiculously huge. But like you sure as shit can't go into it with 2 limiteds and 3 commons. So it basically just kind of it's Sorare Maddie on Twitter.
Oh, Sorare Maddie.
Yeah, so it's just like an unfortunate situation. The fact that like the person that was leading and had a chance to win, go to replies because it was a reply off of someone's tweet yesterday. And it just is an unfortunate situation right there. So like, yeah, go to the one below. He even showed how he lost and like, so like literally, he just loses. And it's just like unfortunate that that's the reason he loses. And he's yeah.
Nanzo also has a significantly lower elo.
So here's a funny thing for you, Maddie. So Maddie says that Nanzo has a lower elo, which is obviously true. You guys can see there's 211 points difference there. Maddie, I'm going to ask you this question. How many people do you think between you and Nanzo in the elo were playing the rhymes game without commons? Because I'm going to tell you right now, zero.
Zero, yeah.
Zero. You played the person closest to you in elo that you could realistically play.
Nanzo, who's also here, said 90% of my games are against sharps with lower elo. That was literally the easiest game I've had.
No, it is. Nanzo and I've been talking, and I play Nanzo like once or twice a day, and I'm in a massive disadvantage every time I play Nanzo. But luckily, he's shitty and like fades Cruz, so I'm like 50% against him. But yeah, like Nanzo has showed me the games. Like this is easily like by far the only game Nanzo's really had that I've seen where he was just like he won. Nanzo's games have been against me or YNWA or Thork or Pranksy. Like he's not, most of his games are, but like that's the problem is like I'm literally playing like Thork, Nanzo, YNWA, Pranksy, all these guys that are at the high elo, unless I play the common matchups. And then if I play a common matchup, I might play someone that is closer to me on the elo that is not, doesn't have a massive advantage. So like even like, I mean, we joke about it, like obviously.
I don't get it.
What?
Isn't that how it's supposed to work? You're supposed to play those guys?
Yes, I'm supposed to play those guys, 100%. So like I should be playing those guys, but like Maddie shouldn't be playing those guys but he has to because he played pro cards, which
Right.
is the issue. The Good Place says you can use out of position cards in Rivals. You can sub a player in at whatever position, it doesn't matter, and then it's all based on like what position is on the card.
What happens with a guy who has a different, like you have a different position card?
I think you can play both because actually I played Orange Fly on Saturday in the Roday game, and he had a Bradley Danger defender, and I had a Bradley Danger midfielder, and we both had the card in our lineup in different spots, and he was getting he got the defender points, I got the midfielder points.
All right.
Maddie just said he won 8 of 9 games against Play With Me. The issue is, and I looked at some of your games, Maddie, is you played some games with non-commons, which is, again, the unfortunate. You literally, the only reason you lost is because you did not have, or is because you had cards, which just feels, coach, so contradictory to me.
I think it was volume. It was forced because of volume.
Yeah, but he would have probably won those games had he not had cards. Like he wins this against someone else in the commons because he captained the best player, I think, and like most likely he wins that if he's playing just commons.
Probably.
Anyways, but like
you're saying that he should have just sold those cards.
Correct. He should have just like he literally should have given them to whoever the fuck he wanted to, because if he just gave them away, he wins more for getting to 700 than those cards are worth by like 50x or like 500x or whatever.
I was gonna say it might be higher than that.
So Surface asked, do you think it would be more interesting if rare, super rares, uniques gave relatively the same bonus? That would reflect a more natural ownership of pro cards, because my sense is people are only buying limiteds to fill. I'm buying some rares, but that's just because like if the rare is like $5 and limited is like $2, maybe I'll just buy the rare or something. But
aren't they pretty close?
That's 5%, but like that 5% might be the difference. And that 5% has been the difference plenty in my matchups in certain spots. But yeah, it's just like a whole thing. It's like you gotta, yeah. So Maddie bought these cards 4 days ago, and it cost him a bunch of shit. Yeah,
I was excited about them and got punished.
You did get punished. Which I will say, though, I will say also in terms of Nacho not realizing the disadvantage, you should have also realized the disadvantage. And so part of it is on you for not realizing, like, oh shit, I don't want cards. But that's really dumb that that's the case. So Effectively, it's Nanzo brings it up, and we've talked about it before. It's essentially different competitions, but the same leaderboard. And that's there's two separate competitions. There's a competition for common card players only, and then there's a competition for um, people that own cards, and they're just on the same leaderboard, which is an issue. Now that said, like I think that there's ways for us to get one leaderboard, and those ways are like you get elo based on your points you score in the matchup. So for example, if I have like 5 limiteds, my score, if I have 5 limiteds in the same lineup as someone with 5 commons, I will get better elo points than them because I have the limiteds, and I get effectively I'm scoring more points. Also though, someone with all commons can technically beat me because they could just have a better lineup than me. So like they could score more points than me, but obviously they're at a disadvantage due to the stuff that's going on.
Maddie said, in the end, it's unlucky, but I want my pro cards and don't want to have to sell them for rivals. It's interesting what you said before, that if you have pro cards and you beat someone with commons, you should get additional points.
Yes.
Because it feels like their lineup is better than yours if they can beat you with commons. But obviously that just encourages non-common card ownership.
So they can't play
non-pro card ownership.
If you have all commons, you literally cannot play me if I have a card.
Yes.
Actually,
but I'm saying if they allowed that, and it's just weird that you would get more points for beating a common lineup versus the opposite.
No, I'm not saying that like I should get more points for being the common lineup. I'm saying that like the common person that plays with that lineup and wins should get less elo than I get for winning that matchup without playing the common matchup.
I think
that's
right.
Yeah, so like the pro card matchup, let's say, gets 25% more elo or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm saying
that's what I've said. Yeah, that's what I've said. From if you're going to do one leaderboard, you have to make pro card wins more valuable.
Correct. So, and then also, like, I do think that I think that there's, yes, so Scosmo says, I think this makes sense too. Like, what if your elo win points were multiplied by your total pro bonus? So 5 limited, you'll get 100% elo win bonus. So like, you could do that because then, like, let's say I have 5 uniques and I'm playing with 5 uniques or something, like I get a 200% win bonus or something. So like you get an additional bonus for having those, and it doesn't add up, but you're also not like running away with stuff, and like you still can lose to people.
Can you?
Yeah, like I've won games at a big disadvantage. I've lost games at a big advantage. Like both are possible. Obviously, it's less likely. Like most of the matchups, you're not going to win with a big disadvantage, and most of the lineups you're going to lose with a big advantage, or you're going to win with a big advantage. Like you're going to get both. Actually, so also for those that have common cards, if you guys don't know, here's a little pro tip for you from someone who's played some common matchups. You can sub in a card that has a scarcity. So you could get in a situation where you are behind, or you're trailing, or your guy just sucks, and you have a rare card and you just sub in the rare card of someone else. So there's that. That's fun one. I this weekend I played the America slate, and it was down to 10 men. My guy got sent off, and I was able to bring on Quinones at half on 10-on-10 with a rare bonus. So I had like a 25% bonus the other guy couldn't get. My lineup was terrible. I lost, but anyways, it's something you can do. But anyways, my preference, if I was doing it, it's my preference would be to have different leaderboards with like different levels, because it's also like, I mean, like I match up against Nanzo, and I'm like 30-40% down on him in terms of like XP. That's not fun either. I think if you had leaderboards and you had like, because then in this situation, it doesn't matter if you have limiteds or super rares or uniques. So like you get matched into groupings. So like, for example, you have a leaderboard that is commons. So cool, common only leaderboard. You have the 100-point leaderboard, or like 60 to 100-point leaderboard, which is basically limiteds, or it could be like 4 rares and a common, something like that, so that people are playing in a similar level. But the issue is you do stuff like that, then all of a sudden people are going to be in all different areas, but at least the elos are going to be the same. And if you're playing on like the 100-point leaderboard, you're going to play all kinds of people in that range and then you're going to play people based on the elo in that area.
How does that change you playing Nanzo all the time, though?
Well,
like, don't you and all the people you play now just end up playing each other anyway?
No, but there was a situation where, like, I don't play Nanzo because Nanzo has way too high of a point total to me. And, like, we're not close. Like, there's times I'm playing Nanzo, I'm like 40% XP underdog.
Yeah, but, like, you're probably the closest one. It's the same thing with Maddie and Nanzo too.
Yeah, well, it would be tricky to actually figure out, like, what the levels would be. Like, maybe you set a cap. Maybe you set, like, an elo cap at, like, or not an elo cap, but, like, an XP cap at, like, 130. So, like, 150, because that's like a bunch of super rares and stuff. And, like, then if you're playing, you could maybe be a little bit behind, but not like way behind or something. I don't know. Anyways, it's not something I'm going to think about that much because there's nothing I can do about it. So it doesn't really matter. Surface asked, and I think this is a good question. Have you thought about daily missions at all? What are you looking for to keep things interesting and fun? So first of all, that was a nice pass. First of all, the rewards have to be incentivizing. People are going to lose interest because there's not rewards. Nanzo said, why are we trying to pretend that purchasing cards isn't part of the game? Well, actually, Nanzo, literally owning any cards in this game mode is not part of the game. That's the issue here currently. So, yeah.
Say that again? What did you say?
I said owning cards is currently literally not part of this game mode. You want to not own cards. That's I think there's under 5 people
he owns.
What?
Nanzo's destroying people because of cards he owns.
No, he's not destroying people. Nanzo's behind me.
You guys are destroying people because of cards you own.
No, I'm playing some common stuff too because I have to. There's like 5.
Why do you have to, Sean?
Huh?
Have to?
Yep, have to, because that's the only way you can compete there, Laird. Some of us are like competing, Laird, instead of you, who like has 60 tickets they're just sitting on.
First off, it's 52 tickets, and secondly, what are you competing for?
I'm competing for Pride, Laird.
Yeah. Nanzo, since you're here, how many common Rivals lineups do you make?
He doesn't make them, but that's because Nanzo's a whale and he has like just all kinds of cards. He doesn't play games, but he doesn't have cards, I don't think.
I mean, he's very high up the leaderboard for not
Nanzo, I didn't farm tickets either. I have done nothing but collect my tickets and get my tickets via rewards. I have not farmed tickets. Laird over here gets the 30 horseshoe up his ass and doesn't even use it.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I think you need to figure out a way to incentivize people to have cards. Back to Surface's question. First of all, the daily stuff, I think you could have a win one a day, and like you win a match a day, and like you keep a streak going on like how many days in a row you win a match. So like, for example, like maybe the streak of like 30 days in a row where you win a match could be like pretty incentivizing or whatever. But the answer to Surface's question is the only way you incentivize via daily missions and stuff is the same way incentivized via month-long leaderboards or anything like that, or streaks, and that is the rewards have to be incentivizing.
What
longer term?
What do they have to be for you?
For me, actually, I'm going to ask Nanzo this question. Nanzo, what do the rewards have to be to you for it to be long-term interesting? And then, so my answer would be, I've got to be able to win a good amount monthly, but like a good amount could be like a half an ETH monthly, playing Rivals in different ways.
In ETH?
Well, it can be cards too. It can be cards. Okay. Yeah, Ether cards. Because like then if I win like half an ETH, that's like, let's just call it $1,000. I know it's not, it's like 1,200 or whatever. But if I can make $1,000 and it takes me like 20 hours worth of time to play Rivals, at least I have a reasonable hourly doing it, or like 40 hours. Like either way, like at least they're getting something out of it to like make my time worthwhile. If I'm getting like $2, I'm just not going to play Rivals. It's just not worth it for me. And I don't think it's going to be worth it for a lot of people. But that said, like that's what the nice thing is like people with smaller galleries are going to be really happy to win a common card. Like the card Keith
Limited, you mean?
ruined his life. Like a lot of people would be pretty pumped to win that card. So like there's different levels. I think people are going to have different levels. The issue is, and like I honestly don't even think you need to necessarily hook me. I might not be the person you want to hook. The person I think, well, I don't know, maybe I am because like I've spent more money on Rivals probably than anyone.
I have no idea.
I probably spent like an ETH on Rivals cards in the last 3 weeks. Do you think anyone spent more than that?
I have literally no idea.
But yeah, Nanzo plays for scouting reasons. So it would have to rival his SO5 rewards. Yeah, I don't think it would. All right, so let me ask you this: if, like, let's say you got like a
for the record, for everyone who doesn't know, that would be absurd. I think, or an absurd amount. I will say.
Yeah, that would probably have to be like an ETH or 2 a month. No, to rival his, it would have to be like 5 to 10 ETH.
Yeah,
but
right.
All right, so here's a question, Nanzo. If I gave you 2 ETH a month for playing Rivals, would that incentivize you? Like, would you be interested in playing Rivals if you got like 2 ETH a month or an ETH a month? Because you're already playing it today for free, so I'm assuming like, yeah,
these are Nanzo's rewards, by the way. Like, if we're talking about rivaling his SO5.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there's some interest, but like I think for again, I don't know if they necessarily have to hook me. I don't know if I'm the one they have to hook. I think they have to hook Gator Guy. They have to hook Tuggy. Tuggy's been playing a lot, but Tuggy's only playing commons. But Tuggy is someone who, if he could play it in limiteds and that was like incentivizing, Tuggy would spend some money. So I think they need to. Those are the people they need to lock in. They need to lock in. They need to lock in Maddie. They need to get Maddie incentivized to buy cards and go out there and buy some limiteds. Like that, those are the people they really need to bring in. And I do think it's possible because I don't think you need to give Tuggy an ETH a month in interest. I think you need to give Tuggy, like, give him some cards. If you give him a limited card, like Tuggy's pumped. Tuggy would love to win a limited tier 2 or something. Like, so if you give those type of things, I think there's enough incentive in it for a lot of people to be hooked on the game mode, which is interesting.
It's interesting to me that Nanzo said it would have to like rival his SO5 rewards because
that's not the case for me, for what it's worth.
So like it's not like it's on top of what he already wins. It's not like he would be taking from his SO5 rewards or doing anything in his gallery that's different for SO5 than for Rivals. So it's interesting to me that he would need like that much incentive to play.
Which I don't think
like, you don't need that much. Yeah.
Yeah, Nanzo's saying I don't think Sorare want SO5 sharps at the top of the Rivals leaderboard, but they should, because then it makes it look a lot more skillful. But I don't know. Like it should be a mix. It should be a mix. Like if you're good at Rivals, you should be able to be up near the top of the leaderboard. It shouldn't just, again, the top of the leaderboard shouldn't be only people that don't have cards. It should be people that have cards. It doesn't need to be Nanzo or I. It could be Tuggy. It could be Maddie. It could be someone that has 20 limiteds. But like it should be people that have cards, not people that do not have cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically the two extremes. But I mean, realistically, how do you change this game so that people like you and Nanzo are not at the top?
I said you have
like fundamentally, it's the people who have the best cards will be at the top.
I said you have multiple leaderboards. Like you have different leaderboards.
I think that just gets way too confusing.
But like, all right, here's another question for you though. And I know the answer to this question, but we'll see what you said. How many people like Nanzo and I are going to take Rivals seriously because of the time commitment needed?
Well, I think it just goes back to what you said before. It depends what the rewards are.
Yeah, but like, let's say you get let's say someone like Nanzo could clear out like an ETH or 2.
I mean, realistically, you're just like, how do you get it so that people like Pranksy and AJ and YNWA play Rivals consistently.
Correct. Which that's a bigger, for them to play Rivals consistently, you need to be giving out a lot of rewards.
Right.
Yeah. But like I'm saying, like people like Nanzo and I don't need as many rewards like AJ needs, but I need more rewards than like a $2 limited once every 2 months type of thing.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference, and Nanzo, maybe I'm completely off on this, but like I don't think he's buying any cards for Rivals.
No, he
But
is.
you are.
No, Nanzo is.
Oh, okay.
Nanzo's buying cards. Not many, but he's buying cards. Tried to get him to buy this card I bought for the Galatasaray game, and he's like, nope.
Why not?
Because he didn't want to have to play the lineup because he couldn't play his 3 uniques that he had. So he just opted not to play the slate. Realistically, he knew I was going to play the slate, and he knew the L was coming, so he opted not to go for it. That was the realistic answer.
But I think developing this game where you play with the design of you should be playing every slate that you have cards for is absurd.
Yeah, you shouldn't. There should probably be like a. There should be like a. Well, I think part of it too is like Maddie, like yes, or like right now I'm in a match where I win 8, I lose 6. If that's I actually don't think I would have beat him this late. Actually, I might have, because I would have subbed on Zaha at half versus him, and because I would have been so buried, I had no shot. And when Zaha scored, I would have definitely messaged him. I think that because currently like the whole incentive is like you got to play a shitload. Eventually, like there should in theory be an idea where like you lose more than you win if you play. So like you need to actually win. Otherwise, it's not good to play the slate per se. So I definitely think that there's some merit to that. And I would ask what it's going to take for you to play more, but I know the answer is just you won't.
Yeah, it's not a game mode I could ever see myself getting into. Like the thoughts of daily missions just like makes me shudder. I just like.
Yeah, I mean the daily missions. I mean, I assume the daily missions are going to get a way to like get you to like play, or probably give you a way to get more tickets, which is probably a positive. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's just some pros and cons to things that need to be ironed out a little bit. All right, so here's another question for you. Do you think they're going to improve Rivals? And if yes, length of time before they make I'm not going to say a significant change. I'm going to say a change that makes sense, which is like, don't punish people for owning cards.
What do you mean by improve? Like
I literally just said it, to where they get rid of the punishment for owning cards.
I think the easiest solution that I think makes the most sense for what they're trying to accomplish is a single leaderboard that gives you more points for winning pro card matchups.
That's fine, and like I said, I'm keeping that open ended for you. I want to know: do you think they're going to change to something like that, and if so, how long?
So I think what they have to figure out is what happens in those situations with like Maddie and Nanzo. That those are two lineups that power wise are so different that the ELO makes sense to match them up. I mean, not really. Maddie was so much higher, but like if nobody else was playing.
I know no one was playing that was higher, because literally at that time there was the only person that was higher on the leaderboard was me, and I did not play that slate because I looked at it and did not have enough lineup.
Yeah. No, I think it's as simple as like, or not as simple. I think the problem is that it will take time for the leaderboard to kind of like regulate, or regulate's not the right word, but in order to, like, if you change the rule of, hey, you get more points for pro card lineups, I think you need a few weeks before like you can even think about giving rewards based off of the leaderboards, because the people who are at the top right now need to be pushed down if they're only playing commons.
You just need to reset the leaderboard. Like you need to reset the leaderboard and tickets. Everyone at that time should be back on the same level once you reset it and restart stuff.
I guess.
That's why it should be like a monthly leaderboard where it's like every month it resets.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Again, do you think they're
Again,
going to make the change?
I'm never playing. It's like, seriously, like it's just
Yeah,
never.
but so again, do you think they're going to make that change? And how long do you think they're going to take it? SR Monkey said, I think we're going to get a pro update next week, and then March Rivals will get an update.
I think that's reasonable.
Okay. So you think
the nice thing about Rivals is the way that it works. Like you don't really need to wait until, like you don't have to do the January, August update timing.
Yeah, Rivals can be a little bit. Oh no. Oh, what a save that was. Holy shit. Sorry, I'm watching the Galatasaray game. Yeah, so like I think that's reasonable. I think we're gonna get a pro update at some point in the near future. When, I don't know. It's coming though. Like we're gonna get it in the near future. Rivals update, I think. When did it come out? Like the middle of this month? It's been like 2 weeks. It was actually no, it was earlier in the month. Has it been 3 weeks? Because I was in Cleveland. It was out the 5th, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
Anyways, I think early March makes sense.
Yeah, I think my guess is that everyone is focused on whatever this next update is, and then
yeah. Well, yeah, but in my brain, these should be 2 separate teams, right? You should have the Rivals team and the pro team. Whether or not that's
which could be the case, actually. Yeah, like
it could be. Like, yeah, we don't know. Like maybe the US team is in charge of something now, and like they got moved over from baseball to Rivals. Who knows? Hey, who knows? But anyways, yeah, I also think so. There's been a couple discussions Maddie talked about with Freiburg Slate. There really should be a way for like the private leagues and stuff to toggle off the having a card advantage, because
that's the other thing, because I've seen a lot of people saying that they want to play their friends, but they're like, I'll destroy all my friends because I have pro cards, and like that's not fun to like bring them in for that.
Yeah. Like that's like Maddie literally can't play his friend. So he's a Freiburg fan. I'm going to assume, Maddie, you're a Freiburg fan. You can't play people on the Freiburg slate because you can play me on the Freiburg slate, Maddie.
Right.
I will play you on the Freiburg slate, Maddie.
Do you have a full stack?
I think Freiburg stack would be my second strongest stack on the platform that I own. Like it's stronger than a gank stack for me, Laird. I think I have 4 supers and a unique in my Freiburg stack. The only thing that's actually, you know what? I don't even have a Marino stack anymore. I don't think, because I don't have the goalie most likely. Maybe I have the goalie. Depends who the goalie is. But so yeah, it might be my strongest stack because I literally can't make a Marino stack. So yeah, so I think there's a way to do it. I think a March update would be cool. I think what they need to do though is if they're going to do it, the issue for me is like I don't know if I have another month to play Rivals without there being a reason to do it. Maybe I have another month.
Rewards. You mean a very clear rewards plan?
Yes, a very clear plan for incentivization. I use the term incentivization, Laird, because I love jerseys. I'm a big jersey guy. Love them. Love jerseys, love tickets, love random shit. Like I'm a big random shit person. You can come up with like a lot of stuff and I'll be like, damn, that sounds interesting to me. Obviously not all people are going to be that way, but like you give me 2 tickets to like a Pittsburgh Pirates game, I might be like, yep, I'm in. That sounds interesting to me. So anyways, I think there sounds good. I'll see you on the Freiburg streets. As long as Hohler's starting. If he doesn't start, then I will pass. No, I'm kidding. I'll play anyways. But yeah, then I just got a common there, and then I don't have a massive advantage. I want to have my massive advantage out there. But yeah, so like I think they need to have a clear incentivization plan. I think they have a little bit of time. I think, to be fair, I think they could even be like, hey guys, this is like our patchwork plan for now. We'll come up with a more clear thing in August. And if they come up with a more clear thing in August, like then that's fine to me. I could get on board with that. I'm fine with that. I think that's reasonable. So if they came up and like, here's like some shit for now to keep you interested. And then in August, we'll actually have like what we're going to give out.
So what's interesting to me is that, so if an announcement comes out and is like, we plan on having some sort of reward plan for Rivals, which
Yeah.
will institute in August.
Yeah.
You keep playing?
Probably.
And even though you feel like the best solution is actually to wipe the leaderboard clean and start over.
Yeah. But I think
Right.
it's important to get reps in and like practice. Like making
Okay.
lineups and knowing what you're doing is like the best practice you can get. I don't think we did maybe we talked about this like way back in the day, Laird, with like making lineups and stuff. The only way to get better at making lineups and coming up with strategies and doing stuff is repetitions and doing stuff. So like there's a lot of tricky things here in regards to like I literally have to know when Nanzo is going to play a slate. Like the only reason I played the Anti-Spore slate is because one, I thought Nanzo would not be playing that slate because he had better matchups elsewhere, and two, I knew that if he played that slate, he would fade the best play and play his shit unique because that's what he's probably going to do, and that's what he did, and he plowed me and smashed me anyways. But I could have won if I played one different player that I considered. I would have won. And actually, to be fair, I didn't know. I knew he had the one guy that sucked, but I didn't think he was going to play that slate. But he did, and so when he played the slate, that one was probably pretty even for us. Like I played him 5 times. That was the closest I would say I was in terms of equity when the game started. So Nanzo is matched against Surface in the Benfica match. Surface, I would like to know if it is a fair matchup because I'm going to guess that it is not. But yeah, so Surface is super excited. He's playing Nanzo. But yeah, so like I would probably play just to continue to get reps in, to like understand subs, to understand when I should use them, when I should not, to understand what other people are going to do, to understand what tactics I should choose. So I think the only realistic way to do that would be to continue playing, but
Yeah,
maybe
that's
I
fair.
wouldn't take it like fully seriously. But if I was like sitting around on a day where I didn't have much going on, I would play.
There's also like the value of learning teams quickly.
Correct.
Like the more slates you play, you're like, all right, you know who's taking sets, you know who may sub in. So like that makes sense.
Correct. Well, actually, so Keith and I have a disagreement, and it's one of those like where like we just will disagree, even though I know I'm correct for the sake of it. Keith will wait till stuff is out on Sofa and then do it. When you like get the lineup 10 minutes before Sofa, and you can just look at it ahead of time if you want. And he's just like, yeah, like I just will wait till Sofa comes out. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But like certain situations, you need to be able to make these quick decisions. And like if you're playing 6 games at like the noon slate, like Maddie talked about, where you just have to play every game, you need as much time as you can get, and every second might matter. But that's what goes back to the repetitions, right? Like if the more you're building these lineups and the more you play, the more ideas you have with how to do stuff.
Server said he lost before it began in his matchup, his Benfica matchup with Nanzo.
That is unfortunate, Sam. The good news is I now know Nanzo's out of tickets and cannot play the Sporting matchup. So,
I mean, maybe he referred a friend.
True. He could be abusing the friend referral. All I know is he's still behind me, so he's got a little bit of the way to go to catch up to me. But I mean, Thork right now. Thork is the person at like the top of the leaderboard that is like consistently playing pro cards, and he's like 15th or something, which is impressive. He's like way ahead of me. I think I'm probably second or third.
I'm looking as if I should know any of these, and I don't. I guess you could even just look at the collection scores.
You have to, yeah. The collection score tells you a lot of the story. Like if a guy has a collection score at like 25, like he probably doesn't have a bunch of pro cards.
This person here at 489 has 184 limiteds, 89 rares, and 27 super rares.
In 489?
They have 489 points.
Oh, yeah. So who's that?
My things. Oh, here we go. Fraxels, something or other. This one right here.
Okay. So yeah, so I mean, I guess that like let me preface this. I haven't looked through
Oh,
every
there's
single.
Paul from Sorare.
Yeah, I haven't looked through every other person through here, but yeah, so like there's some people up there ish, just not everybody per se.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would be wild if the top of the leaderboard right now was pro card owners, because we
Mhm.
know how much easier it is with commons.
Correct. And like these guys are like 200 points behind the top leaderboard. Oh, by the way,
Right.
Maddie, you're top of the leaderboard now.
Yeah, Maddie's first now.
Maddie, you're like a pretty distant first too, right?
I don't know how many points you get at this level, but
Not
Maddie's,
much.
yeah, it's 689, 689 zaps.
Not much. I'm like you. That's like at least like 5 matches from the play with me guy. Let me see what Maddie's getting per win.
Ricky said there's a challenge to get a reputation score of 1100. How many people will actually manage that?
I mean, everyone that plays will eventually get there because you get points as long as you like. If you go 50-50, like you'll get there.
That sounds absolutely dreadful to me.
Yeah. So Maddie is getting. He lost 7 in his last matchup. Won 5, so it looks like he's winning 5, losing 7. So like for those guys to catch Maddie's like they're like 5 matches behind at least, probably more, probably like 6 to 8. So the guy got 700, then just got dumped on, or did he like it? Yeah, like he just got dumped on after he like he had to lose a bunch.
Do we know what the breakdown is yet? Like how they determine how many you win or lose?
What do you mean?
Like how many zaps you win versus how many you lose if you lose? Like, do we know what how that number is calculated?
No, I don't know. It changes. Like it changes on levels too. Like sometimes I'll get more or less, and I
Right.
don't know what the rhyme or reason is behind it.
Right. Like I'm looking back at, like, this is Maddie's like history, and it's like win 11, win 10, lose 7, win 10, lose 7, win 5, lose 7.
Maddie said that he had open games against that guy, and as soon as it ended, Maddie won all of them. Yeah, I don't know.
Depending on the differences in elo. That's fair.
Yep.
But it's a bit random. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I don't know exactly as it. Yeah, so as you go up, you lose more if you lose, and get more if you win. But so like, which is
Well, the higher you go, the more likely you are to play somebody below you. And if you lose to that person, then it goes down more than
correct.
beating somebody below you.
Correct.
Like that's the problem getting to the top, is that you can't beat anybody above you.
Correct. Like it's literally impossible.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Maddie, because you lose, because you're first, you're going to lose more than you.
Yeah, you're below them instead of ahead of them, or
Right.
you're ahead of them instead of below them now.
Right.
Yeah, agreed. But yeah, so I don't know. Like I still like Rivals a lot. I still think there's a lot of interest in it. It's something that like I'm intrigued by. I think there's upside in it, but I don't know if they're going to go that route because, like you said, you don't know if they're going to go that route. I still don't view it as an onboarding thing. Personally, I don't see the long term. I don't see the hook. I see it as an onboarding thing, but I don't see it as a hook to get people to play the pro game. And that's the issue. Like you could bring on a bunch of free to play users, if none of them are going to pay and play, then it doesn't matter anyways.
Do you think that if they make a change where clearly owning pro cards gets you higher up the leaderboard, do you think Rivals becomes a reasonable onboarding to just play Rivals?
Maybe it's possible. We have no idea. We have no idea what they're going to get.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, do you think that it's possible that like rewards are good enough where you're like, oh, I'm going to buy cards and I'm actually only going to play Rivals. I don't even want to play SO5.
I don't know. You seem to think no. Like you don't think they're going to give very much in the Rivals.
I don't know.
Nianza
But I
said
also
the
think it's
arena.
a better onboarding tool than you do.
I think it gets people on board. I don't think it translates them to the paid game.
Yeah, I don't think it's like
Are we counting that as onboarding?
What's that?
Are we counting that as onboarding? Like if they come on, they just never spend $1? Because I think that's what happened with like the World Cup. Is a lot of people came on and then no one played. Most everyone did not transfer into the main game.
I think this is just completely different than that in terms of the fact that it's an intriguing game that can continue. Like
Yeah.
people really love the World Cup, and then
Yeah.
when it's over, they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't care anymore." And there was nothing to keep going. There were
Correct.
no more. So like Rivals, you can keep going.
But yeah, but
That's
like
why I
you
think it's
can
so
keep
different.
going to like not get rewards. Like, is that really interesting?
I think it. I mean, look how many people are playing with like legitimately no shot at winning rewards.
That's people are not that's not why people are playing. I think a lot of people are playing because they enjoy it right now, but I think a lot of those people will stop enjoying it when there is not an incentive to keep playing. Like they're
There is
enjoying it
currently
now
no
because it's
incentive to keep
new.
playing. That's
What?
the point. There's currently no incentive to play
That's not true.
rewards wise.
The incentive is that like in the future there will be rewards. Like or that there
I
will be
think
like an
most people
upgrade.
are not playing for that reason. To like eventually
No,
win rewards in
they're playing
Rivals.
because it's something new and shiny that is different and the pro game is dull to them. Or there's just something to do because like you can just play constantly.
Maddie started in the World Cup game. And
Yeah,
he's buying
okay. So like
colors.
why would someone come like what's my question is like what
This is the point right here. Without the free game, he would have never started.
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Like I think it's like you're never going to convert everybody. And even if you
No,
only convert 10%, like getting more people to know the name So Rare and that it's a fantasy football platform, like I think that's more than enough, to be honest.
maybe. I mean, I think there's definitely some I think it's interesting. I just worry about how interesting it's gonna be in 3 months. Like I worry about like it hooking people in and
Mhm.
continuing to get people to play. Oh, they called off sides there? Oh damn. I could have
Are
won a
you,
reward.
what if what if it is just jerseys and more tickets and stuff? Is that enough for you? Is that shit
Yeah.
enough?
No, tickets and jerseys are enough for me, but I don't know if that's the same for everybody. I love jerseys. You give
It's
me jerseys.
it's funny. I would I would guess it's jerseys and tickets are more incentive for most people than you, and you love this. Like
I
you
love
actually
this
like
shit.
this.
We
Yeah.
know, yeah, we've had this conversation with Surface before. If I'm going to go to a game, I'm going to have to spend money to buy tickets. You giving me those tickets so I don't have to actually spend that money out of my own pocket is value to me, and it's really value to everybody in the world. Like it's not just me. Um, but like jerseys, like I like jerseys. I like getting jerseys. Um, those are fun to me. Like I do plan to eventually hang some of the jerseys that I've gotten from Sorare. Like I have two back-to-back Gank season team jerseys, like team signed jerseys. Like I plan to at some point frame them or something, hang them up in my office, um, and have them there because I like jerseys. Tickets, like I mean, being able to win stuff and do things is nice. Like so,
Mhm.
I like that stuff. I mean, it needs to be executed well, and it's obviously difficult because you don't have an unlimited amount of jerseys and tickets,
Sure.
but I think you have a lot more than what some people think. Like some people are like, oh, they have some tickets, but it's not very many. Like they probably have a boatload of tickets to a lot of things.
Oh, I don't know any specifics, but seeing how many people get to go to whatever games they want,
Yeah.
should they I'm convinced they are just swimming in game tickets.
Yeah. I mean, I've worked in sports that like tickets, unless it's like a team like Real Madrid where they're just going to sell out every game and everyone's going to be packed in the doors. Teams love to give out tickets. You know why? Because if you're there, you eat food and drink beer. And if you're not there, nobody's doing that. So like if it's a team that doesn't sell out, they want as many people in the gates as possible. So like
Absolutely.
an MLS team that doesn't sell out, they'll give you 500 tickets to a corporate sponsor because it's like a value add to the corporate side of things, but also benefits them on the back end because they get an extra 500 people in the door that wouldn't have been at the game otherwise that are now paying for food and drink at the game.
And it's not even that. It's like, oh, and a scarf. And then the next time they're like, oh, I got nothing to do in a few weeks. What should we do? Oh,
Correct.
the Revs are playing. Let's go
Oh,
see Carlos in
I'm now
person.
wow, I'm now a Revs fan. I like the Revs. Oh, I'm gonna go buy a jersey. Yeah, there's like tons of value add to get people excited and interested. So like I'm a big fan of that. Like Quinny's like at a Celtic game all the time wearing his shirt and tie. Like that dude's just like in the, I forget what the people are called, but like, yeah, you want to know, like, all right, so you want to know the one game and the one like thing that they give away to people on Sorare that I've seen people at that I have no interest in going to? It is sitting with Quinny at a Celtic game wearing a shirt and tie.
But just because of the shirt and tie, not
Just because of the shirt and tie. Quinny, I'll go with you to any other game you want that doesn't involve me wearing a shirt and tie, and I'll be there. But yeah, I have absolutely no interest in going and sitting wearing a shirt and tie at anything. Literally anything.
The concept of putting a tie on to watch a sporting event is absurd to me.
It's so dumb.
Like, I get it. I get what they're trying to do, but come on now.
I had a shirt I was wearing this weekend. I got to show it to you. It was like lime green, like pure neon lime green that my mom got me for Christmas. It's like it's just like a random shirt. My wife is like, that is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, yeah, but I'll wear it in public. And she's like, absolutely not.
You will not, yeah.
But you know me, Laird. You know I would.
Yeah, you would.
100%.
Certainly if it had a number on the back.
Yeah, Quinny, shirt and tie, comes with a 3-course dinner and open bar. I'll buy a cheeseburger at the event at the.
Sean doesn't even drink.
Stand, and I don't drink. And even if I did, I have no interest in getting there. I don't wear sweatpants very often, Anzo. Laird knows my exact attire that I wear pretty much at all times.
You're wearing it right now?
I'm wearing it right now. And I'm wearing shorts. And I wear shorts 90% of the time. If it's snowing outside, I'm probably still wearing shorts.
We should start a suspenders trend for MLS Ultras.
That would be James. I don't wear suspenders. I do wear hoodies though. I do like hoodies. So, like my preferred weather is like a hoodie and shorts. That's like best case weather that lives. Like give me like, for all you Euros, you won't get this, but like give me like 65-degree night, Laird, where it's like a little 65, just nice.
You think that they just have no idea what 65 degrees Fahrenheit means?
They probably don't. They have to figure it out on Celsius. They're probably like, what is that in Celsius? And they just don't know. And I don't know.
Yeah, there's just no way to find out.
What is 65 in Celsius, Laird?
10?
What's your guess?
10. 10's my guess.
My guess would be 15. I'm going to look it up.
Give it to me. 18.
18. Wow. Yeah. So you want like 45. Well, that's on you, Laird. I want 18 in Celsius.
Okay.
Yep. That's like the perfect weather. Give him shorts and hoodie. Yeah. Yes, please.
Do you have a Sorare hoodie?
What?
Do you have a Sorare hoodie?
No. They're fattest. They don't have fat people sizes. They're always like, here's our XLs. Way fatter than that. Come on.
My biggest problem with the sweatshirts, and I don't know if this applied to the ones that they just did that coin spending event for, is when I visited the Sorare office in New York, that everyone was wearing them, and they all say unique one of one. And it's like, I don't think you know what unique means.
No.
If all of you have the same sweatshirt that says unique.
I think you're missing what it's supposed to mean. It's supposed to mean that you are a unique person.
I don't think Sorare.
Ricky imagines that Sean wears Crocs, Laird.
Ricky, there's nothing to imagine. Sean
started the Croc trend like a decade, and I wore Crocs to class in college every day. You can imagine my fashion sense back in the day. So
let's just appreciate this declaration here that Sean was the first person to wear Crocs.
Mm-hmm. Trendsetter, Laird. Trendsetter. I was ahead of my times. All right, so I got, this is gonna be funny. You can bring this up. If I can find it. So I used to have these pair of pajama pants that were like the most comfortable pajama pants of all time. I don't think I can find them. I'll have to take a picture. I think they're still somewhere in my house. So anyways, there's a brand called Big Dog, Laird.
Yeah, they had a great hold on. They had a great what was their like motto? It was like something about letting the big dogs run. Oh man.
I have no idea. But anyways, they had this pair of pants that was like the most comfortable pants ever. but like they literally just have like a bunch of dogs on them, and like it looks like ridiculous. And so, anyways, I was going over to this girl's room in college to like watch a movie for class. I know. And anyways, yeah, I had all of my friends believing that I was going to wear these to go watch a movie with her, and they were absolutely mortified. And like I had like 15 people like being, you absolutely cannot do this. But it was that believable because I wore them to class once, and I like everyone I walked by looked at me like, you are a moron.
Sean, I just noticed something. I was thinking about this because I was like, I have a picture of you in Crocs.
Yeah.
And I just pulled the picture up and you're not wearing Crocs.
Yeah, that's because my feet hurt from the day before.
Oh, okay.
Because you have the picture, I believe, from the All-Star game.
Yeah.
But the night before, you made us walk like 8 miles probably, and my feet hurt, so I wore shoes the second day.
I didn't make us go anywhere. We just went to the stadium.
Yeah, lots of walking. Again, fat, so I was my feet were a little hurting, so I opted for the sneakers the second night. You probably have a photo with me wearing Crocs somewhere on Twitter.
I'm actually just looking for something from when we were together previously. When were we together?
We've been together many times, Laird.
I was looking in Miami here.
I mean, I definitely only wore Crocs, I think, in Miami, but I don't know if I took any pictures in Miami.
I don't think I have anything of your feet, which sounds weird now that I say that out loud.
A little bit. A little bit. Yeah, I'm trying to see if
this is thrilling content right here about all of us looking. Anyways.
Yeah, I guess when in Orlando, you couldn't see my feet.
Yeah. Anyway, this was the picture I was referring to. If anybody wants to see it, you can also see how gigantic Gator Guy is.
Yeah,
Sean,
that's my norm. What? I'm 6 feet.
Yeah,
he's like
Gators.
That's my normal attire. Just switch out the shoes for Crocs.
Right.
Also, here's a funny story.
It was pretty hot it was like really hot that day too in DC.
It was very hot that day. Also, go back to that picture, Laird. So also Laird can verify this. This photo was taken right before there was like 25 of us, Laird. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say?
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
This is a photo where there was like 25 of us here when this picture was taken. Right after this, 24 people went to get dinner, and I went right in this restaurant to my right and ate by myself.
Can confirm.
Laird can confirm because they wanted to go like walk another 1.5 miles back somewhere and eat pizza we had the day before. Yeah, they are. Our legs are also very hairy. But yeah, so yeah, Laird wanted to walk like 1.5 miles backwards to sit outside in 115-degree temperature and get pizza. Understandably so, because Larry wanted pizza. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to walk 3 feet into this air-conditioned building and eat a steak. And I did that.
All true stories.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't really care what was on the menu. I was just going to go sit 2 feet away where there was air conditioned instead of walk 1.5 miles in 98-degree heat to sit outside.
For the record,
I did have fun. We both had a good time.
Beyond a mile.
Laird's group had a great time. My group had a great time.
My group. Like you and your knife and fork.
No. Alex met me there eventually, like 2 hours later.
You ate by yourself for 2 hours?
I mean, however long I was there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 98 degrees and I was sitting in an air-conditioned building. So, and then we went to the game and I made sure that there was, oh no, actually that game I sat next to you.
I think Larry was in between us.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But yeah, the night before I sat with nobody in between me because obviously. Nanzo said, sounds like you need to set a line. There's no lineup setting needed that day because it was like MLS All-Star break and it's the summer, so there's really not much going on. Probably the least amount of lineup setting ever is during like that week. Because you there's like maybe a lineup in Asia.
I don't know.
Who knows?
All right, we've fallen off the rails here. Sean, what's the time frame for when they need to announce that there are rewards or that they're considering it?
No, I think your timeline's reasonable. I think if they go into March and do an announcement in March, and then they do another announcement, and then in March they're like, this is what you're gonna have for now. It's not the best, but we're gonna come out with something better for the start of the European season that's gonna be really exciting. That would be efficient. They need to change leaderboard or something though in March, and they need to reset stuff. That would be interesting to me.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody, for joining. If you could please subscribe, all that good stuff. Shout out to Quinny, who was here earlier. I'll be back tomorrow with Gator Guy to talk about, I don't even know what we're talking about yet, but we'll be talking about something here, so don't you worry about it. So yeah, thank you to everybody, and good luck with those Rivals lineups.